What's going on, everybody? Coming back at you again live tonight. You know the normal crew. We got Doc. We got Cheesecake. We got myself. But those are the people you don't care about. You care about someone else on this screen here. So without further ado, I got to intro him in the right way.
Yes!
We welcome in a man that projects royalty as he hands out tiaras, king coals, and golden goals. The creator of Fantasy Baseball's Atlantis, known as Pitcher List, where you'll find pitching gifts, award-winning articles, oodles of baseball podcasts, and some of the best people in the fantasy baseball community. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you someone that can be heard on this podcast as where he can be seen on my screen, and that's on the corner. What is happening? Nick Pollack.
What is happening? Man, I have so many things. That 30-second countdown, that just, you didn't warn me about that.
we got to do it big, man.
Oh my God, that was incredible. And you played Toto. I mean, that was, okay, yes, every single night, I swear to you, that's what I listen to as I do the SP Roundup. No joke. That wasn't just for the content. That is real, genuine.
Dude, when I heard you say that was like your pump up stuff to get you going, I was like, me and you, same page, brother. Because I was like, that song is just, it never gets old, and you can hear it 1,000 times, and it's just great every single time. So I was like, I got to do that for you.
It's a vibe. Really, it's on repeat as I do that article. It's for like however it takes, an hour or 2 hours, whatever it is. That song is just going.
Do you just have like an hour-long loop on YouTube where it plays?
So I used to do that. There was a 50-minute thing on YouTube. One of my developers here, made it so when I start an SP Roundup article, it plays inside the browser on repeat.
That's awesome.
It surprised me. I had no idea. I just started playing, and then there it was. I was like, this is an amazing moment in my life. That dev needs more money. That's all I'm saying. It was incredible. I felt like I made it in that moment, you know?
No, I love that. I'm doing things wrong because I need that on a loop for my stuff. But we had such a great time with you the first time you came on, so we're really happy you're back here tonight. And there are a couple things that you've been doing since we last talked. One of the things that I've been really liking is the Nick Pollack and Friends. I've been having a blast listening to those pods and getting to know all these people in the industry outside of just fantasy baseball. What made you get inspired to start doing that?
Well, first of all, thanks for listening to that. It's been a ton of fun. And again, that amazing intro you gave, my God, not necessary whatsoever. I'm honored to be back. I mean, I had a great time losing in trivia, and I look forward to that again. And you keep saying I'm not going to lose. I am going to lose. And that's okay. But the Nick Pollack and Friends podcast, I mean, I'm someone who, what I do, I talk about pitching. It's the thing I do forever now, but I hope at least. There's a lot more that I do, right? And there are a lot of things that I think about and have interest, and I realize that there are so many great people in this industry that are, there's so much more than just that, right? So I've been really fortunate to have these fantastic guests come on and talk about their lives, and it's been really, really fun and enlightening for me along the way, and I look forward to continue to do that for this year and beyond.
And I appreciate because Yancey was one of your first guests, and he got you to talk about yourself some too. Which I was like, I want to know Nick too.
That's what Yancey does. He's the best. Easiest guest choice.
We don't speak positively about Yancey on this.
Why not?
Because Yancey bullies Eric on every live stream.
He bullies me on every single live stream.
Oh, so Eric isn't allowed to speak nice of Yancey.
That's true.
Not we. Just
yeah,
Eric.
Us three can talk about it, but Yancey and Eric.
Treat him better, Yancey. You're better than this. Come on.
Oh, thank you, Nick.
It's great. The other thing that I think people don't realize what it takes that what you're doing is your SP roundups. I mean, being able to see the lines with the whiffs, the CSW, the amount of pitches, the blurbs you really do, they're super helpful for everyone in the community. You do those every night, and it's like from like 11 to 1 or something like that?
Pretty much, yeah. I've been doing that every night since 2015. I did in 2014 also, but, I got shut down and all that stuff. But, it's weird, and I'll be honest, there are many nights I don't want to do it, but I've been doing it for 6-7 years straight now, and I'm not gonna let that one night be the night it crumbles,
Right.
So it's at the end it's very fun. By the end of it, I'm like, oh, that was amazing. I had a great time making a terrible joke that no one can tell me that I can't put on this article, so I'm gonna do it. That's just it helps with everything too. Like me knowing pitchers, I have to write the roundup. I have to talk about that performance, and it just shakes all the hands of the things that I do. So it helps out a ton.
I mean, it really helps out everybody being able to see those lines. And then I love that you actually put the jokes and stuff in your writing, because I hate just like reading things just like plain Jane.
Textbook, right? Yeah. Just have some fun. Whatever. That's what this is. It's fantasy baseball. We're supposed to have a good time with it. So I'm happy I can get away with some terrible, terrible jokes.
No, I mean, I laugh and I think they're awesome. And again, super pumped to have you tonight. If you guys couldn't read the title of the show tonight, we've got something really fun planned with Nick Pollack. We're doing pitching pleasers and pitching teasers. We got a nice handsome man on the screen with that
ridiculous. Image. You didn't warn me for any of this. It's amazing. Oh my God.
Behind the scenes, it started with you helping us with our audio and helping us actually sound a lot better. Cheesecake making that when he was editing, and you're like, you know what? Why stop there? We got to keep it going. So that actually you kind of sparked that from the beginning.
It looks great. You guys are killing it.
Well, I appreciate that. And I'm super pumped to have you on tonight. So the pitching pleasers and teasers. So we're kind of getting close to that first month in the season right now. And now we can start looking under the hood at some of those pitchers that are breaking out in a sense and figuring out if you should buy in on these guys and kind of buy in what we're seeing, or if this is going to be something where you're going to try to sell high on these guys because you know that regression is going to start settling in here. Hopefully this can help you ride that tidal wave into a fantasy championship. So without further ado, let's get to this first guy on the list, and that's Mr. Steven Metz, who right now has got a 3-0 record, 1.47 ERA, and he's got a solid K per 9, nothing like incredible. Looks like he's due for some regression with his X stats showing him outperforming his peripherals, and he's got a 190 BABIP, which definitely seems like it's going to go up at some point. It's also worth noting his pitch mix hasn't changed much from 2020. So, Nick, how do you feel about Steven Metz? Should we be buying what we're seeing?
I mean, maybe. Look, in some ways, it's a Vargas rule, which is essentially you have someone performing well, and you keep starting them until they hit that wall. Metz hasn't given you really any reason not to, with 3 earned runs total in his first 3 starts, 1 earned run each. I mean, I'm not seeing so much different in his repertoire and approach. He doesn't really get whiffs. He had, I think, a 15% swing strike rate in that first start, and then hasn't hit 10% since those last 2. When it comes to, I made this in the best way. I ignore like a lot of the luck stats and everything at this point, like the hotel, which is the holy trinity equating luck of BABIP and home run fly ball rate and left on base rate and all that stuff, because it's so, I don't know, it's like such a small sample that we can't really pull much out of it. Say for like, oh, he had like a 700 BABIP. Okay, fine, that's not right. Mm-hmm. Or he's allowing like 3 home runs per 9. Like, okay, that's kind of weird. But with Metz, I mean, sure he could. I know this is like a really weird ramble. I'm very sorry.
No, you're good.
But essentially you could say, look, he's performing at a certain level that he got lucky before, but that doesn't actually mean after 3 starts that is his skill set the rest of the way. So we'd actually, even if that luck evens out, maybe he gets better to counteract it. Maybe he gets worse and keeps the luck. As of now, I don't really see anything crazy with Metz that makes me suggest he's a new pitcher. That changeup has been good in a couple of those starts as well. If he has the command he has, sure, it'll keep going. But Metz also has a tough schedule. He gets the Red Sox, then the Nationals, but then the Braves, and then the Astros. And I don't know if I'm comfortable with, say the Braves when Acuna will be back. They'll be the 3rd start, probably Albies too. Houston will be fully recharged. I doubt Altuve will be messing up protocols in 3 weeks. They'll be there. And the Red Sox are heating up a bit too. So it's not an easy time with Steven Metz. So, look, if you want to keep rostering right now, I do not blame you, but I don't think this is a 2021 breakout season ahead.
So you would be trying, if you had him on a roster, you would be trying to see if you could sell him high right now and see what you could get for him.
I have no idea what you could get in a 12. So be like, it's Steven Metz, whatever, and like give your last player on the roster for him.
Right.
It's not really something I think you could sell much. Maybe if you can, by all means.
Cheesecake, what about you? What do you think about Steven Metz? Are you buying it?
I mean, I was diving into his last start against Kansas City, and that changeup did look really good. But he also was getting a really generous strike zone. He got at least 2 of his strikeouts were on changeups that were off the plate to the inside on the right-handers. So I mean, his 20 -11 K- walk rate in his last 2 starts actually should have been a little bit worse because he was getting a generous strike zone. So, obviously he's going to normalize. He's at a 0.49 home runs per 9. He's usually about 1.5. In 2020, he was at 4 home runs per 9. So he's getting a little bit of that good luck that he did not get all of last season. So good for him, Steven Matz. But I've never been a huge believer in him. So I was not on him to start, during draft season, and I'm still not quite believing him. But he's on a good team. He's a guy who I wouldn't pitch against Boston, but in almost most matchups against mediocre to worse teams, I'd love to have him as a good streamer. He's definitely like a Vargas rule type guy, according like Nick says.
Can we just?
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Nick.
No, I'm sorry to interrupt. I just realized this morning that he's rostered in more leagues than Trevor Rogers.
Is he really?
Isn't it crazy?
Wow.
It's I think I saw it. I think it was like 85% or something ridiculously high, and I don't understand at all.
I'm mind blown right now. Like,
it's
what?
nuts. Yeah.
Maybe the people in Canada are really pushing for him to get signed.
That's it.
It was weird.
Florida and Canada combined.
It was weird when he got traded to Toronto. There was this like groundswell of opinion, like buffeted opinion about him. Like, oh, Metz is going to be great in Toronto. I'm like, really? Because he wasn't that great in New York. But I remember that there was a lot of momentum for Steven Matz going to Toronto. So obviously, I think him getting that solid rotation spot there has a lot of people excited. But I don't see it.
Can we just talk about how he's a ticking time bomb? Like, I looked at his 2020, and he had 9 starts, and in 3 of them, he gave up 6 or more earned runs. And in 2018, he's had 30 starts, and 5 of them, he gave up 6 or more earned runs. So you're just waiting for that game where he's going to implode, where he gives up like 7 earned in 2 innings.
Yeah, I mean, that's what Nick calls a cherry bomb, right?
There you go. You got it. Oh, man. What am I doing here? You don't need me. This is.
I got the full.
You got this.
We got the full Nick dictionary here. So this next guy, I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on, because it might be a little harder to kind of get from getting away from Steven Matz here. Taiwan Walker. He's got a 12K per 9, and he's got right now a 3.21 ERA, highest ground ball percentage so far, actually the last 3 years. So are you buying this? And one of the things that I saw when I looked into his profile was his sinker is actually been a worse pitch for him, and he's throwing it a lot more this year. So is that kind of a sign that there might be regression coming? Because I think now it's his second most used pitch, and it wasn't that before this year. So Nick, what do you think about Taiwan Walker?
Yeah, I love the fact that Taiwan is throwing harder. That's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
I felt really smart calling my roundup fast Walker. I was like, yes, got it, done. The problem with Walker has always been, what is the second pitch that he's going to throw with confidence? And he still doesn't really have that. I think the fastball being harder, and actually last year he commanded it pretty well. It was a 2.70 ERA last year, and that we knew was not legitimate. I think it came with like a 4.6 Sierra, if I remember correctly. And that's just no. Come on, buddy. For a long season. But with Walker, it is a better situation in New York with the Mets. He's a Toby to me. I mean, he's someone that you probably want to start for the most part right now. But if there's anything better out there, or he blows up in any fashion, you'll feel completely comfortable getting rid of Taiwan Walker. And I hate to make it that simple, but until he shows me like a legitimate secondary pitch that gets me excited, yeah, Taiwan Walker is just kind of is.
And I know, Cheesecake, that was actually one of your guys going into the season. You were trying to grab everywhere you could, and Pollack just shot an arrow through your heart right there. What do you feel the same, or are you still confident that Taiwan Walker can give you season-long value here?
Well, I'm not liking his walk rate that he's been showing so far this year, and I worry if he gets his walk rate in line that we won't be seeing the great K rate that he's been getting, because right now, like, he's got fantastic ride on that fastball, like that two seamers. Like you're seeing Phillies picking up their arms, bending back, and the pitch is getting 3-4 inches of the plate. He's really using that and getting a lot of great movement on it. I mean, I'm not 100% sure. I know he was working on that split change, hoping to get that better this offseason with working at Driveline, and I really put a lot of stock in Driveline. Of course, as fantasy analysts, we're looking for any port in a storm to try and find some positive news on somebody, and I've been in on Taiwan since like 2015. So I have a soft spot for him. But for what I'm seeing, until he gets that walk rate under control, I really would not throw him out there. I would have thrown him out there against the Cubs because the Cubs have stunk. But he walked 6 that game after.
And he got ejected.
And he got ejected.
The most important part. There you go.
After he got pulled out of the game. He got ejected, which is incredible. Go ahead, please.
Eric, you can come up with a new stat about like percentage of likelihood to get ejected from a game.
You know what? That's a great idea. I think
you'd be the first with that stat, Eric. I can guarantee that.
Would you say maybe like Lance Lynn, but how much he's like kind of hard-headed a little bit, like maybe Masson Bumgarner in there too?
Yeah, I mean, if Puig was in the league, I know that's a hitter, but I mean, he would definitely lead that category. I mean, Nick, you're on to something. I'm gonna keep this up with pitchers. It's gonna be the new talked about stat over
there
CSW.
Yeah, you got to come up with you got a flashy name here though, okay? And by the way, when it comes to guys talking about Driveline, I think it was Zach Hayes inside of our Discord was like, hey, I think he went to Driveline is the new best shape of his life.
Yeah,
that makes so much sense.
I agree with it though. I mean, like, yeah, he went to Driveline. It's like he went to Jared's almost, and it's it's a little bit more appealing. Your heart goes like, oh, really? He went to Driveline. Oh my.
They do good things there.
They do.
This might be triple play after dark the way this is going.
Okay. All right. Let's pull it back, guys. Let's pull it back.
Yeah, David, you're letting this show get off the handle.
You know what? There's only one way I can bring this back, and that's talking about a food that makes me may salivate, and then a pitcher that Nick, you crown this name that I love, and that's coffee cakes. And if you don't know,
oh my gosh,
that's JT Brubaker. And it took me a second to I was like, how does when I heard you first use it, I was like, how does that relate? And I was like, oh wait, brew. Okay, there we go. Yeah. It hit me. I was late to the joke, but
man, that came up during the Twitch chat. I think for whatever reason, if you guys don't know, I do Twitch now in the mornings, 8:30 to 10. Twitch.tv/pitcherlist. Ha, plug! I did it. And but no, like during the chat, someone like mentioned like Brubaker, and like it sounded all of a sudden to me in that moment, I was like, oh yeah, like there's got to be something, and then instantly we're like all as a group, like coffee cakes. Let's say it together. And for whatever reason, I'm like I can't not say it now. And he's got a really nice slider, and that's a really good thing. It doesn't have much else though. And that's kind of the problem here. He has a tough schedule ahead. He was supposed to get a really good one, and then he got pushed back, and they're like, we'll give it to Mitch Keller, where we're going to be like, well, we don't know what to do with Mitch Keller, though. I don't care if he gets the Tigers. I don't want that. And now Brubaker has a tough schedule, so I'm kind of out in the short term. I mean, really, with a lot of these guys that are they're close to Toby's or on your wire or not, the most important thing is what's their schedule. And we have an article that we put out actually every Monday now that's like the next 4 starts that every guy will have. It's every other week. So you can just kind of like look at it and just go, oh, okay, this guy's going to get some bad opponents. I don't want that. Or this guy's going to get good. And JD Brubaker sadly has bad ones. So for 12 teamers, yeah, I don't see a reason really to hold on right now.
And right now his FIP is actually 3.5. So it's actually pretty much double what his ERA is right now.
So
are you tantalized with that 27% K percentage right now? Do you think that's going to go down at all?
Well, that was a shock. That was the absolute peak. I think he had 8 strikeouts over the weekend. That's really pushing that. That's lovely, but that's a day when his slider is working as best as it can, and while getting other pitches in the zone that are not being put into play, so then he can get to that slider. I don't think that's going to stick whatsoever. He's more like I want to say like a 5K per start kind of guy, and those are very rare occurrences when you can go 7 or more.
I just threw up in my mouth. 5 Ks per 9. Yuck.
I just can't. 9 per start. Big difference.
Oh, 5 Ks per start. So I missed that. I missed that.
Yeah, so I just can't wait. 7.5.
I just can't wait till you have him on your podcast in like the off season, and you're like, "Hey JT, I have this really cool nickname with you, Coffee Cake," and then like it's gonna be like a joke around the clubhouse. He's gonna be like, "Man, now everybody in the Pirates team calls me Coffee Cake." Like it's gonna.
That's a great name.
I would love it. It is so great. It's going to spread like a wildfire.
Well, do you know that like when I talked to Matthew Boyd, I told him I was a Boyd boy. I couldn't not do it.
Oh my gosh!
I had a moment, and I thought, he would understand. He is a super unbelievably nice guy, And I was like, I just won't let you know, like, I'm a Boyd boy, you know? I'm like,
It's the
okay.
It's the
Bass was
alliteration.
Like, oh, God.
It's the same reason with SP Streamer, Lorenzen Lover, Boyd Boy.
Oh, I didn't hear that one.
Cake.
Okay, yeah.
It's the alliteration that's so catchy. You guys
know Gal and Gals as well. So
this is amazing.
Too. Yeah, that's who we are.
Yeah, we got Carlos. It's getting a little awkward in here.
What's up, Carlos? Good to see you, man. Thanks for tuning in.
But Nick, you're a good host because you basically led right into a guy that we'll get into next year. You're one of his boys, Matthew Boyd here. So pitch mix roughly the same as last year. Usage the same. Regression is expected. His Ks haven't been great overall. They've actually gone down dramatically to 6.4 per 9. Home runs per 9 is down 0.34, which is too lower than his norm. So is this new Matthew Boyd with lower strikeouts but a lower home run percentage right here? Is that something that you think is going to stick?
So Matthew Boyd has a sub 10% swing strike rate on a slider. And that's a problem to me. The changeup is amazing. The changeup is doing incredible things. As a CSW average, it's 37% right now, with a swing strike rate at 16%. Like, that's a really, really amazing pitch for him. And that's actually what got us excited about Matthew Boyd last year, was that he was incorporating this changeup. He had a really good slider, but he needs something else to keep guys off the fastball when he had that second half in 2019 that made us all go nuts in a bad way, after he went crazy in the first half in a good way. And now without that slider, though, we were not quite finished here. It's been interesting to see this so far, to him really go fastball changeup and hope to get that slider in there for strikes. But I can't probably be a Boyd boy until I see the slider back and doing wonderful things. This was a slider that we were comparing to Patrick Corbin when Patrick Corbin was better as like a 20% whiff pitch, and really the reason why he was going to excel and be a 25% to 30% strikeout guy. I can't get on board until I see the slider yet. I'm crossing my fingers we will, though. I'm just hesitant at the moment.
Doc, are you looking to become a Boyd boy, or are you staying on the sidelines?
I'm knocking on the door. I want to be a Boyd boy. And I remember I talked with him, I think last time we had Nick on, and I brought him as a potential bounce back, and you exited out right away, and you're like, nope, your opinion is disqualified. And I think the hate for him really started in 2020, because the first inning at Cincinnati, he gave up 4 runs. Like, it was the first game, and
you're giving him, you're haunting him right now.
That was so painful.
Yeah,
it was like 4 home runs in a row or something like that.
It was something crazy.
It was bad.
And his first 4 starts, he went 19 innings and gave up 22 earned runs. So I'm throwing his 2020 out. But I look from 2017 to 2019, he's been pretty durable. He threw 175, 170, 185. He was on pace for 170 innings pitched last year. And he's kind of had bad luck. His expected ERA has been higher every year than his actual ERA, except for this year. So 2018 and 2019, his expected ERA was about a 3.5, 3.6. So yeah, the lack of the slider concerns me a little bit, and he's never going to be an ace in my eyes. But I think he's somebody that you could roll out as maybe an SP4, SP5, and have confidence in that they won't blow up like he did in 2020.
Nick, let me ask you this. Are you looking to roster him, like to stream him against, like, not the Pirates, but like, let's say even just in a mid-tier matchup? Would you recommend streaming him right now?
I mean, it's another Vargas role at this moment. Like, he's performed without the slider, and that's great. And I really hope he can keep doing that. I just feel so shaky. The only thing I want to do is open the floodgates and just shout Matthew Boyd's name on top of at the bow of the boat. And I can't do that yet. He does get the Royals next. I do anticipate that being a favorable start.
That means it won't be.
Yeah, exactly, right? That's exactly it. So it's just, I don't know. I can't tell you what's going to happen right now. But yeah, if you have Matthew Boyd, start him until he gives you a major reason not to.
Okay, then let's stay with the Detroit Tigers, and let's talk about his teammate, Michael Fulmer, who I bought him in Fab in TGFBI this past weekend, and he looks like he's a totally different pitcher from what he's been the last couple of years. The velo is actually up a couple ticks. He's gone heavier slider this year than in previous years. He didn't have a great start his last start, 4 innings with 3 earned runs. He has a 3.94 ERA right now, but his highest K per 9 of his career. FIP isn't too far off from his ERA actually right now either. Are we buying this new and improved, which once was a rookie of the year, which is, it's crazy to think it's like new and improved from your rookie of the year. What do you think?
So there's a running joke at Pitcher List about Michael Fulmer versus Rick Porcello. This has to do with one of our managers, Austin Bristow, when he had his interview. He was like, "I am not in on Fulmer, but I'm in on Porcello." I was like, "How dare you!" And every year there's always a bet like who's going to be better, Fulmer or Porcello. And when Fulmer got Tommy John, was out the entire year, I like to say that I won because that was the year Porcello was horrifically bad. So every single year there's always like, oh, Michael Fulmer's a thing, and I'm not in. There's two reasons why. One, when we talk about the increased velocity of Fulmer, well, it's not really increased. It's just back to normal. It was down in 2019, in 20, because that was like 93. I'm like, wait a second. Fulmer's supposed to shoot like 99 at times. He's supposed to sit 95, 96 or so, and 93 was just horrendously bad. So he's back to 95, which is good, but that's kind of like a reset. And like, okay, now you actually have to be good from there. And when Fulmer won that Rookie of the Year, I remember this distinctly. His first 3 starts, he was just fastball slider, couldn't really go deep into the game, was struggling a bit. It wasn't until he found his changeup and had a good feel for it that he actually excelled and went off and had that Rookie of the Year campaign with some luck, of course, on his side. But still, he was a much more effective pitcher then. That changeup isn't back yet. And he went yesterday against the Pirates, and it wasn't great. He didn't have that changeup. He was limited to 60 pitches because he's going on short rest on Sunday, and we probably won't be seeing Fulmer up to 80 or so until the start after that. But I like all these guys. I mean, it's the same kind of story with me. I'm still waiting for that extra element to arrive before I can really be confident in them. And with Fulmer, if he doesn't have a changeup, I'm not in. It sucks because I used to love Fulmer so much, and I just can't buy it now.
Do you think he'd have more value if he stayed in that kind of long relief in the bullpen where he could give you 3 innings, have that velo up, only see the time through the order once? Would you be a lot more in on it than it is right now?
Well, for the Tigers, I would be. For fantasy, I don't roster those kind of guys personally. So it's just not for me. I think the roster spot is more valuable for a streaming option or really trying to find something that does more than just those random 3-inning starts like every 4 days or so.
Doc, what are you thinking about this Detroit Tiger right here? Are you buying into Fulmer?
Nah, he's a tease for me. And, Nick kind of talked about the
Thanks for relating it back to the show, Eric.
Oh, you're welcome. You're talking about the increase in fastball velocity, and he's right. It's sitting at 95, which to us is fast, but to a major league hitter, it's out of the ordinary. And David, you were talking about his increased use of the slider. He has a 34.7% whiff percentage on that. That's for you. Had to bring out the stats today. But he's not a huge K guy, and that's what I think is going to limit his upside. He's still building up his arm after Tommy John surgery, and the way that we've seen pitchers get hurt. I mean, when Lance Lynn got hurt, I was like, okay, the flamethrower himself, the guy with the unathletic body, I think pitchers ramping up their arms in this short period of time is a little bit of a worry for me. And we're chasing his rookie year where his expected ERA was 3.82. His actual ERA was 3.06. And you take out that, he's 14-27 for his career, pitching in arguably one of the toughest divisions. I'm just not that high on him.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say this, but when I spent the money in Fab for him, I was feeling pretty confident. I'm not gonna go there yet.
Yet.
But I was very encouraged with what I had seen before. And I was like, look, this is a guy that hopefully could be a bargain at this point. If he's, one of the top starters for the Tigers this year, gives you a lot of innings and is able to give you a sub-4 ERA, that looks like it's a value. But right now, like Nick brought up, he's just kind of back to what his old velocity was. So it's not like he's spiking it even more than what it used to be. And he hasn't been good since his rookie year. So it's been a long time since we've seen a relevant Michael Fulmer. So I guess we'll have to kind of wait and see how that's going to play out. But let's get away from the Detroit Tigers.
Well, it's just like Jacob Junis in this way. We got excited because all of a sudden, he has this new cutter and it's doing really well. But then you realize, wait, what we know about Jacob Junis was that he had one really good pitch and then nothing else. And that is what Jacob Junis is now still. Before it was a slider, now it's a cutter. So I think it's important to remember that because there was a change doesn't necessarily mean that it's always new and better and improved. It could just be a change from being much worse to now the old normal, and that old normal wasn't that great. So hopefully for both of them, both Junis and Fulmer, that can change soon.
He's blocking a Matt Manning rotation spot. That's what he's doing.
Fulmer? Not like Urena?
Oh my God! Yes. How is Jose Urena still a starter? He's got to be the worst actual starter in the big league.
You know what's crazy is I think he's only like 27.
Matt Moore would like a word with you, but it makes total sense for Urena to be part of the Detroit Tigers because they can throw him as many innings as possible. And there will be days when he had like 8 strikeouts the other day. Like that will happen. You'll have those birthday parties, right? That happen once a year and we celebrate about it. And it's, Urena is the perfect match for that. I mean, I would say if like Cole Hamels was still a thing, that would be a fit too.
Yeah.
But it makes sense to me that Urena is there and
him and Teheran.
Exactly. For the sake
They're
of
just there
Detroit.
to block.
Right. Well, not to block, but to like ease in.
Yeah.
Look, Detroit as a baseball organization isn't like, oh, we need to get our aces in now because we're going to win the Central. They're like, let's make it easy for them. And we have those innings covered. And cool. These are guys that are like the most easiest definition of innings eater you will find in both of those. So it makes perfect sense. And I know your pain. I mean, I remember Josh Tomlin blocking Mike Clevenger. And that was the worst. Oh God. And that was in like July. Like, come on, Cleveland, get it together.
And with Cleveland's pitchers that they're going to be something special.
It was Clev, So yeah, I know this pain very much, but I can't blame them whatsoever.
Well, I feel like we've been talking a lot about guys that were kind of like not too sold on. Let's talk about a guy I think that's been the darling of fantasy baseball so far, and real life baseball for that matter. That's Trevor Rogers. He's got a 1.64 ERA. 31 Ks over 22 innings. K percentage is actually top 10% in the league right now. His home run per 9 is less than 1 per game. His BABIP isn't even that bad at 250. So it's not like could be horrible regression in terms of that regard here. All his ERA estimators show not any major regression coming. Nick, I guess my first question to you, I'm assuming you're in on this. And then my second question would be, how high is he in your top 100 pitchers right now?
So I'll say first, I'd rather have Steven Matz. No.
Wow.
He got me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh man.
There it is.
Oh, I'm just.
Is it because he's rostered in more leagues?
There it is.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for there. I'm proud of you, Eric. Right. No, Trevor Rogers is looking fantastic right now. This is something I wrestle with a lot when it comes to creating the list. It's really frustrating in some ways where like this was the year I didn't want to go by my gut as much as possible. I wanted to go by look, ignore emotion. I have to be conservative about things. I need to take into account 2020 was weird. We all collectively as a fantasy community say we're going to ignore most of this and we're going to stick to like how 2019 performed. So yes, higher on Corbin. Yes, higher on Greinke and so on. And as much as we want to be excited about like Joe Musgrove and Corbin Burns, we can't allow ourselves to do that. And I'm just upset at myself. And how could I ever do this to all of you? Now, so Trevor Rogers enters the picture, throwing harder than last year, showcasing really good fastball command on the inside corner to right-handers, which if you ask me, the number one thing I like to see from left-handers is being able to put a four-seamer inside to a right-hander, like with confidence. Then give me a secondary pitch that's going to be a whiff on the outside corner, and he has that with his changeup. We saw 9 whiffs against the Orioles, and it was beautiful. Oh, I mean, hey, here's a slider that you can throw for a strike easily. Like, sure, whatever. There's a slider, done. That's what Trevor Rogers is doing right now. The only time he got burned against Atlanta was Acuna cheating too far on an inside fastball that wasn't even on the plate, and he hit it for a home run somehow because he's Ronald Acuna. It's really, really magical. At the same time, like I was saying before, it's such a short sample right now, and I know how exciting this is. I really do, because I am thrilled. It's much-watched TV for me. We have to recognize it's a very long season. We're not even a month in. We don't know how many innings Rogers is even going to go, and he's going to hit some sort of adversity. This is what happens. Guys are in rhythm, and then they aren't for a moment. He's a young pitcher. Is he going to be able to get through that adversity and get back on track? And generally, when I start truly buying into guys is when they have success, they start failing, and then have success again. Because we've seen this pattern before. Look at Matthew Boyd. Perfect example. So much success early on, absolutely killing it, then gets into trouble with home runs. And wait, all of a sudden, he hasn't gotten it quite back. I mean, debatably, as we've been talking about earlier today, but That's what I'm trying to get at. So I want to push Trevor Rogers up, but I will also say there are a lot of legit aces this year. It might surprise a lot of people to hear that, considering like, no, we only need DeGrom and Cole and Bieber and so on. But I mean, inside the top 20, I even had trouble pushing up Burns and Glasnow and stuff because there's Flaherty's still really good. Castillo is way better than how he's performed. Gallen is back. There's Lance Lynn who's returning, on Sunday essentially. I mean, there are a lot of really good pitchers, and it's hard to say that Rogers is going to go so far up because it's too many talented guys that have a larger track record for the success. So look, I hope August Trevor Rogers is 18th or something like that. Nothing would make me happier. But for those that want to or are curious about buying high, honestly, I would consider selling high. Like, I would take Luis Castillo for Trevor Rogers, and I imagine there are some leagues that you can make that deal.
Okay, what about some guys like Jesus Luzardo? Would you sell him for Jesus Luzardo?
No. They're like ranked right next to each other right now. And I'll be honest, fantasy baseball is about having fun, and Trevor Rogers makes you happy and is fun. You don't want to trade away for Luzardo, who is going to be an instant anxiety for you, wondering if it's going to pan out or not. If you're selling Rogers, it has to be someone that you feel very confident is going to be good for the rest of the year.
So then the other one I was going to ask was Zach Plesac, who I felt like is kind of in that range right now too.
Oh yeah, that's really, really close. So that's the wise thing would be say yes, go get Zach Plesac, but I don't care. Just hold on for Rogers. if you like, you feel worse when it comes to trading. You always feel worse trading away, like making the bad deal, than missing the good deal, right?
Yeah.
So I'm always often conservative when it comes to that.
That makes total sense. Cheesecake, I want to get you in here. How are you feeling about this breakout in Trevor Rogers? Are you going to try to sell high on him as well, or are you trying to hold on to him basically unless an amazing offer comes your way? And he's got a
he's really thinking about it. He's gonna trade it away.
Am I back? Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Am I back?
Yes.
Right,
can you hear us?
I feel like I missed out on Rogers. He was going like 400th, in the 400s during draft season. And I was doing we did a Discord draft with the SP Streamer Discord where Rob DiPietro was all about him. And I'm kicking myself because I should just listen to smart people when it comes to pitchers. But I do look at Trevor Rogers and I see that his walk rate is really high, and he has had some home run issues in the past. Right now, his average exit velocity, which is not a perfect stat, but it is in the 6th percentile, his average exit velocity. It is really, really poor right now. His max EV is not that great, but when you look at the fact that he has home run issue past, he has a high walk rate, but he's had some home run luck so far, you could see some serious blow-ups coming in the future. And for me, I love him. I'd keep him. But I'm wary. I'm looking for some home run blowups. I'm looking for those walks to bite him in the butt coming up soon. So for me, like I said, I'm upset that I missed out on him because I didn't get him anywhere. But I'm also looking to say he's pitching a little bit out of his shoes a little bit right now. So I think that he's going to see some of that regression. It's going to hit him pretty hard. And like Nick said, I want to see what he does after that.
Yeah, Cheesecake, for every Trevor Rogers is a Logan Webb. So don't worry. That's what happens every draft season. We like to focus on the ones that make it and not the ones that don't.
Right.
So it's always so hard to tell which one it's going to be.
That's very true.
Absolutely.
And as long as you're putting in the time to try to learn as much as you can, I feel like that's all that matters. Because again, not everything is going to hit. But if you follow your processes, you're going to find what you need. Let's get a little negative again. And I'm sorry for bringing this guy up. As a big Twins fan, we used to, back in the old days on like message boards on MLB sites, we used to call him Meow Mix because he's like a pussy cat on the mound and he throws cat food. So Kyle Gibson, an ugly K per 9, an xFIP of nearly 4. So his xFIP isn't horrible, has not given up a home run all season, and his hard hit percentage is actually a career low at this point. I never buy into Kyle Gibson because to Nick again to take it, he seems like a cherry bomb because that he's going to blow up. It's a matter of when and not if. He has thrown his changeup a lot more this year. Are you looking to spend any type of money on Gibson if he's a free agent? Or are you looking to trade for him? What do you think, Nick?
I mean, White Sox, Red Sox, as they debate what kind of laundry you should have, should it be pink? I don't know. and Twins are next. So white, if you mix white and red, it's going to be pink laundry, guys. Anyway, so that's a terrible schedule ahead for Kyle Gibson. I think it's a nice little hot streak he's going on. I don't think his sinker is going to perform this well. The slider, like I watched some of these starts, and there are times when Gibson, oh yeah, that's a serviceable starter. You don't see him and go, oh man, he's absolutely cruising here. He is dominant. It's more, okay, yeah, the fastball's going in the general vicinity of where he wants it to go. Cool, he's doing the right things, the right little sequences, and it's just kind of working. You can get away with that against weak teams like the Orioles. You're not going to get away with that as a right-hander against the White Sox. Probably not the Red Sox. Probably not the Hot Twins now, who are finally like actually being good. Maybe not in the win column, but as a team, they're performing better. And I think Kyle Gibson is going to be an easy acquire if you want him for that start against Seattle in a couple of weeks. But I wouldn't be chasing him before then.
Cheesecake, you same thing?
Absolutely. That Baltimore start, he got some really good numbers. He was sharp, but not that sharp. Baltimore couldn't capitalize on some of the pitches that he missed. They didn't. And like Nick said, I don't see the White Sox or the Red Sox missing on those misses by Kyle Gibson. And it's just too hard to miss your spots that much against good offense.
All right, keep him away from the pink laundry. Then
Can we just say Meow Mix, another alliteration nickname? Just throwing it out there.
Yeah, those are the ones that are the best.
These are the ones that are sticking.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
So then let's move to a guy who is coming off a bad start, but he also looked like he was kind of on his way to a breakout, and that's Huascar Ynoa. 32% K percentage, nearly a 4.5 FIP. Walks per 9 are by far the lowest since his rookie ball days with the Twins in 2016. So they're actually significantly lower. So there might be some walk regression coming. Does have a 33.3% home run 5 ball percentage. So maybe that might stabilize a little bit. His slider is everything and anything this year. So Nick, how are we feeling about Huascar Ynoa? Do you have FOMO if you don't have him, or are you kind of like, I'm good?
Man, he is so electric. He throws 97, and at times it's like 99 on the black, and you're just in awe of this. And then he throws a slider that just falls off the table. It can be really, really filthy. It's like the best reliever acting as a starter. And I do worry, of course, that it's a 2-pitch mix. There isn't that extra offering that he can confidently throw for a strike. Just a good curveball or something like that, maybe a cutter even, that he can turn to. At the same time, I don't think that he is the kind of wild arm like Peralta that would have what I would call feral command, where it's just kind of going everywhere and you're just hoping to contain it in some way. So Ynoa, I think, is someone to capitalize on right now, especially with the Diamondbacks over this weekend. That Cubs start, I don't think he actually pitched that badly. I know it's kind of crazy. You see these, I think it was 6 earned runs that start against the Cubs, but the pitches that the Cubs hit were kind of good. He allowed a slider home run to Wilson Contreras in the first inning. That was a really good get me a strike pitch that just happened to go out somehow off of Contreras' bat. I think you're going to really like Ynoa against the Diamondbacks, and I probably would start him again against the Cubs. So, yeah, get in while you can.
So you're all in. People are freaking out. They think I've seen him dropped in some leagues. They're like, all right, this is what we're expecting. You're all in on trading for him or picking up wherever you can. I mean,
in the short term, let's just see how he keeps going. Right now, if he's available in your 12-teamer, I would be starting for Arizona and assessing from there. But I will say the fastball and slider combination themselves are really, really good. The question is, how far can he go with just those two?
Docker, do you agree? Are you a Huascar Ynoa cheerleader here?
Yeah, and is it weird to say he's like a diet Dinelson Lamet?
That's actually Freddie Peralta. I call Dinelson Lamet Professor Chaos, because you look at the strike zone plot and it's just there is no direction here. And then you look at Freddie Peralta and it's like the same thing. So he's General Disarray if you follow South Park.
Oh, love it.
Yeah.
But I can see the same thing with Ynoa as well. I like that.
Yeah, and you talk about that slider, and I mean, hitters are hitting opposing batters hitting 161 against it, 350 against his fastball. You love the velocity, but you hope that he can get a little bit better with the control. But he's pitched in 15 MLB games. He's had 8 starts. That's something that you hope gets a little bit better with experience that Nick has talked about, for lefties that can hit the inside of the plate, or, righties that know how to pitch in certain areas. He's 22 years old, and I love the intangibles with him, so he's somebody that I'm high on the rest of the year.
All right, so buy you some Huascar Ynoa. There's another guy here I feel like that we might be on the same page on, and that's Nathan Ivaldi. He's got an expected ERA actually almost a full run lower than his actual 3.04 ERA. He hasn't gotten hit hard nearly as much this year, and a big reason, it looks like his pitch mix has been a big factor. He's actually dropped nearly 20% usage on some pitches, and he actually has upped his cutter. Or I'm sorry, he's nearly 20% drop on that cutter. So, and he's also allowed no home runs, very low walk percentage. He seems like he's a confident ace of the Red Sox staff. And I'm kind of buying in on it a little bit. I think barring him getting hurt, which is definitely a real possibility, it seems like he's the real deal. Nick, are you buying in on Ivaldi?
I feel like I did a massive disservice to Nathan Ivaldi. I'm just upset because he essentially had this gauntlet at the start of the year. He had some tough opponents, and I saw, okay, he didn't have his cutter going, and Ivaldi, the story of him has always been he has a really hard fastball and then no secondary stuff to complement it. He's always searching for that pitch. With the Yankees, it was the splitter, but that didn't really work. Then there was the cutter for a moment with Ivaldi that was coming back down into the zone, and that was the only way we've ever seen him be effective. But then the start of the year happened, and he's not using that cutter. He's going with curveballs and sliders more, and I didn't really believe it. And he's continued to do that. I mean, all of his pitches, he has 4 secondaries, and they're all working, and it's shocking. And now he gets Seattle, Texas, and Detroit. I messed up big time. I'm very much in on those starts. I think you guys are going to be incredibly happy rostering Ivaldi. If there's any way that he's available at the moment, yes, I would swoop him up and start him for the next 2 weeks at least.
And Cheesecake, I know you're an Ivaldi guy too. I know I've seen you pick him up in a couple leagues.
Mhm.
Are you buying in on this too? Are you trying to sell him? Do you think there's regression coming for him? What do you feel about Ivaldi?
I mean, I don't trust him to stay healthy. He's never stayed healthy, but you can say that right now that it doesn't seem like Boston's messing around anymore. They're keeping him in the rotation. They're not moving him back and forth between the bullpen and the rotation anymore. So he's fully part of the rotation. And the other thing I'll say that you can see, home runs have been an issue since he got to Boston. He's been over 1.5, whereas prior to Boston, he was under 1 home run per 9. His career is under 1, but he's been over 1.5 his entire time in Boston, and he's given up no home runs yet this year. But apart from the fact that I do expect him to miss time and not to throw probably more than like 120 innings this year, I'm going to want him. I'm going to want to get all those 120 innings on my team, I think.
All right, that's fair enough. Then let's move to a guy that I'm sorry, Fast. It's another former Oriole that's succeeding in a new environment, and that is Alex Cobb. He went to the school of Kevin Gausman and started featuring a split finger fastball. His K per 9 is actually double his career norm at 13 per 9 right now. He's got a 393 BABIP, which also means he could be due for some positive regression on that 4.6 ERA. Nick, are you taking a bite from that Cobb?
There it is. Oh, let it loose. Let it loose. Okay, so he gets Houston right now, right? And I don't think I want to start him for that. It's 50% splitters. We saw it last start. It blew me away. I've never seen someone go 50% splitters. It just doesn't happen. You know, the highest you've seen really is like 40% from Matt Shoemaker when he was on his famous runs, if you remember those back in the day. But that's really it. 54% splitters is crazy, and it turned into 10 strikeouts for Alex Cobb. I don't know if that's sustainable in any way. Yes, we talk about it as the thing. If you hear about the thing, that's Alex Cobb's splitter. And it was back last year a bit, and now he's really leaning into it, and maybe this can stick. The good news is if he survives Houston, it is Texas, and then the Rays that are not a strong offense right now whatsoever, so you could get a long benefit from this. The other thing I do want to mention is that he's only had 2 starts this year. I mean, yes, there was a issue, of course, with the Twins, and they really messed up the whole Angels rotation, but they also have a 6-man rotation with Ohtani, and it is going to be more spaced out, which I don't want to neglect as an actual thing, because that's 20% production lost, and it's going to be a little bit more frustrating having Cobb, who's a fringe guy, going less frequently when you're trying to make those decisions on streams. So those two things combined, I mean, look, if he shows up against Houston and actually dominates this, I think it's actually tonight. then maybe I like if he's still doing it, fine. I'll take it twice against the Rangers and Rays, but I'm not really buying this long term.
You've also brought up before. I've heard you talk about that the splitter is like the pitch that you
Most volatile pitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so do you trust if he's going to throw it this much that's going to be sustainable?
Right. But if a guy has rhythm with it, we've seen stretches before, like for the full season. No. But then again, Gausman is like the most consistent thing in the world with a splitter. It's actually astonishing to me how consistent Kevin Gausman is with a splitter. Maybe Cobb found it again, and that can stick. Baseball is weird like that. But yeah, I wouldn't be betting on 50% plus splitters the entire season with success.
Cheesecake, are you in on Alex Cobb? Or are you trying to get him? Are you spending money on him? What are your thoughts on Alex Cobb?
Of course you're in on Alex Cobb. It's a pitcher that the Orioles gave up on.
Yeah, there we go.
That means he's going to be great. That means he's going to be great.
You know the alumni well, Jake Arrieta and Dylan Bundy as well.
Eduardo
there's so
Rodriguez.
many. Yes,
Eduardo
Andrew
Rodriguez. Oh my gosh. I mean, the Orioles are great at developing pitchers for other teams. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. I mean, I think his K rate, the increased
Josh
splitter
Hader,
is.
too.
Oh
That's right.
yeah. That increased
This will
splitter
turn into
usage,
an Oriole hatred podcast.
being a Cubs fan, I'm loving Arrieta. We got a Cy Young out of him. Maybe we can get another Cy Young, maybe an Alex Cobb Cy Young and Trout in the playoffs here. What do we say, guys? I think the K rate's going to stay a little bit up because that splitter produces a higher whiff rate than the fastball and sinker. Wait, is he a two-seamer? Is he a sinker pitcher? Not a four-seamer? Yeah, I think he throws a sinker.
I'll check on that for you.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's a sinker. It produces a much higher whiff rate than a sinker. So I think that the Ks, I think you can look and see if he can keep that splitter usage up, his K rate is going to stay up from what it has been. But I mean, apart from the joke that you got to trust guys that Baltimore gives up on, I don't trust Cobb until I've seen I've seen a lot from him. Right now, like Nick said, you ride him because he's got some favorable matchups coming up. I mean, but other than the matchups, I'm not in on Cobb. I don't have any trust in him. I still feel like that Baltimore Alex Cobb is inside there somewhere, and I'm not going to be putting myself out there in a league that I care about by putting him out when it's not Seattle.
So you're saying if you're in a league with Cheesecake and you see him starting Alex Cobb, he does not care about your league.
Yes, the writing is on the wall in that case.
I should not have put that out there.
Don't edit this out either.
What we're gonna do is, if any leagues that we're in, we see you pick him up, we're gonna screenshot it and put it on Twitter so everybody can blast you. That's great. He does throw a sinker and a curveball. Both of them have at least a 22% or around 22% usage, but he only threw the fastball 5 times last year. So he just ditched that completely so far this year. So it's just pretty much those 3 pitches.
It makes me wonder if that 5 fastballs was like just miscategorizing a different pitch.
It could have been for sure. Let's move. We got 2 guys left. We'll get through real quick. One guy is the Mr. No-hitter, near perfect game, Carlos Rodon, 32% K percentage, walking still too many guys with a 10% walk percentage right now. ERA estimator still have him very good, even though it's not his magical 4.7 ERA that's current right now. Ethan Katz was working his magic. I was in on Dylan Cease. I'm still going to ride that ship until that ship sinks. But I should have just looked at his teammate there and thought it could happen the same thing with him. But I'm kind of mad I have 0 Carlos Rodon. Nick, should I be upset with myself, or is this something that's going to make me feel better later on?
Well, a couple things. One, Cease could be turning the corner. He gets Cleveland, I believe, tomorrow night, and he did throw good fastballs with a really nice slider command last start. So maybe. I'm not saying it is, but if there's a time for Dylan Cease to turn the corner, it's the next start. It's just in my head, I'm like really eyeing that one. But you should have gotten Rodon. I don't know what's wrong with you. His fastball was up in spring training, and it stuck around. 95 miles per hour is higher than any other season Rodon has had. It's normally around 93 and change. And what's really interesting to me was he had that consistently in the first start, and then the no-hitter, he was at 92 and change in the first. And by the end, his second to last pitch was 98. And he ramped up through the start. And actually, that happened in the most recent outing as well. That's something that Verlander would do. He's still around, I guess, but, he used to do it too. And I like to see that. I like to see that he's throwing hard consistently, can average 94, 95 now. It's certainly going to help things. It's always going to rely on his slider, though. Actually, I take that back a little. The changeup has developed this year, and that's been a very welcome addition for Carlos Rodon. But at the same time, if the slider is not getting strikes, not getting swings, then he's going to run in some problems. But hey, he has a 51% strike rate this year on that slider. That's good enough. You want to see like 60-ish. But 51, I'll take that from Rodon. And yeah, you're still riding this. The whole Chicago White Sox situation is a great one to pitch for. You have Grandal, who's an amazing framer. You have a solid defense, especially with Tim Anderson back now. And you're in the Central, which is going to have Cleveland. It's going to have Detroit. It's going to have a lot of Kansas City and a really good offense helping you get wins. And Tony La Russa is like, yeah, whatever. What's 110 pitches, right? So that whole mix makes Rodon in the perfect opportunity to succeed through the entire season.
Doc, I don't think you have any Carlos Rodon. Are you having FOMO?
No. You know what? I own him every year except for this one. David, I do want to say tomorrow you'll be in a little bit of a pickle. Your guy Dylan Cease pitches against your alter ego Dane Dunning. So,
did they?
Yeah,
that's another back. That's another story.
That's going to be a tough one for you. I'm actually out on Rodon. I know he's started out the year well, 3-0, 0.47 ERA. It's actually an expected ERA of 3.08. He's never had an ERA under 4 when he's pitched an entire season. And I'm looking at this year as an anomaly so far. His Ks per 9 are 11.3. His career average is under 9. His home run per 9 is 0.47. Gives up over 1 a game for his career. His ground ball rate is down extremely high. And I look at his injury history. 2017, IL stints for left bicep bursitis, left shoulder inflammation, 29 Tommy John surgery. And shout out to Curlin for this stat. He's thrown 110 pitches in 2 straight outings. I don't see him being able to hold up the entire season doing that. The White Sox did get him on a 1-year, $3 million contract, so nothing really for them to lose by pitching him frequently and having him go deep in games, but I don't think the longevity of that will hold up.
Yeah, that's very fair. I will say that Rodon costs nothing.
He doesn't.
Anything you get, just keep riding him for as long as this
Oh,
works.
for sure.
The anomaly is that he's throwing 95. Of course, he's not going to have the 93, 94. Oh, sorry, the same season when he's throwing 93, 94.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if that's going to stick, though. I agree with you there. Like, maybe that is the anomaly of, like, is he going to hold 95 through the year? I hope so. That would be great and really fun and cool. But if he starts throwing 93 or so and he gets like a good result, but the FIP isn't there and you're kind of wondering, is that not real or not? It's not real if he's throwing 93.
And maybe I'm just a little salty that I own him every year and just
I've heard
get my
that from a
hopes
few
up.
people.
Yeah.
And like this is and I'm glad I didn't do it with Barrios this year because that would have really bothered me. But I own people like every year, Freddie Peralta, Rodon, Barrios, and it's just like, all right, this is the year I'm giving up. And then, of course, they turn it around.
Yeah, you
Right.
were Rodon, and you shouldn't have been.
Oh, that's good.
Nick,
Oh, man.
Nick,
That was a
you-
mic
you-
drop.
You,
That
you
was a
have
mic
you
drop.
have a talent. You have a gift.
It is
You
a
ed-
gift.
You ended me
no.
on that one.
Oh man, we got one last guy we'll get to, and he's in the Central as well. It's Danny Duffy. Felt like he's been around forever. His fastball velo is up nearly 2 ticks. He's solid across the board, whether it's stats or X stats. Is he more than just a serviceable starter that you're looking to stream against weak opponents, or is there more there, Nick?
I mean, look, Danny Duffy throwing 94, 95 out of nowhere was amazing, to say the least. This is someone who in 2016 threw 94 and change, and we didn't expect it because that's what he did as a reliever. Then when he came a starter, he held the velocity, which you just don't see. Normally you lose a tick or two when you go from relief where you can go 100% to being a starter. And now Danny Duffy's throwing as hard as that you're not supposed to do that at all. In the first start, he was around 93 or so. And I thought, okay, yeah, that's kind of typical for Duffy. But then it was 94.5. And then he did come down a little bit more in this most recent start. But I'm still kind of in just in the short term. It's a good schedule right now. When it's a tougher schedule, and if he's not averaging 94 plus, then I might be out there. But just follow this. I don't know. It's very interesting. There have been moments like Brad Keller's throwing over 94 again. Wait, what? Okay. Something kind of is going on in Kansas City. There was a moment when Mike Minor was throwing harder than before. Now, then he was down, but maybe he goes back up. I don't know. It's all very confusing. But right now, Danny Duffy's throwing hard, and that should make you happy.
So you're targeting him. Cheesecake, are you targeting him at all?
Yeah, I mean, I've liked Duffy. Every season he has these runs where he looks like a really good pitcher, and then he follows it up where he gets blown up. I mean, this is just a total gut call, but, you know, we could be looking at the best run of his career. We could be looking at his best season right now. And that's not going to be a great season, but it's certainly going to be a serviceable back of your rotation fantasy season. And like I said, this is a total gut call. I've been in on him for portions of every season the last few seasons, and had to drop him afterwards. But you know, why not? I'll bite again. I think he's gonna put up. You know, he could put up his best season of his career, and I want to be in on it.
I hope you stream him and he gets you negative.
You're taking your fork?
No, Eric, take that back.
Okay.
You want all pitchers to be
No
dope.
negativity.
Yeah,
Okay,
That's right.
right.
All right.
Okay.
Let's go, Duffy. You're doing
Cheesecake's-
great stuff.
Cheesecake's taking his fork and he's taking a deep bite out of that cheesecake, that Danny Duffy cheesecake. So I'm all for it. But that was great breaking down those 12 guys. Those are some of the 12 most added guys across a lot of leagues over the last few weeks here. So we'll have to see how those play out and how the results will show as we continue on in the season. Now, it is time for our question of the week. And our question of the week is sponsored by an affiliate of the show, Monkey Knife Fight. Triple Play Fantasy is now official affiliate to Monkey Knife Fight, the fastest growing betting site in the United States. Use promo code Triple Play and get up to $50 of your deposit match when you become a new member and use that code. And if you're looking to win some cash, make sure you follow the Triple Play Monkey Knife Fight shows coming soon to give you a 10 to 15 minute show to help you find out our locks to help you win big. All right. Our question this week: who is your favorite ace that you've watched in your life? All right. So it doesn't necessarily mean it was the best pitcher, but I'm sorry. That was a question for another week. Mixed up. Nick looked at me and I was like, wait a second. I'm sorry. Who was the scariest pitcher that you've watched in your life? And that doesn't mean the best pitcher, but it means the pitcher that you just had that scariest mound presence. So Nick,
man.
You're the guest. We'll start with you.
So there's a correct answer that I know you guys will give, and I'm going to let you give that. I'm going to give kind of the off color answer, because this is a scary human, and I think what he represents is a terrible thing, and that's John Rocker.
Yeah.
So to me, he is the scariest person on the mound, because just that man, he's not a good human, and I don't like him whatsoever. And just him being there, doing his thing in this, and kind of just, he was just scary to me. Just nope, don't like it, John Rocker. Don't want to see it. Don't want to see it.
I'm looking up at him now. I've never heard of John Rocker.
You never heard of John Rocker?
Eric, have you heard of
Man, let me tell you about John Rocker.
I have heard of the name, but I'm not going to act like I know who he is.
Google
John
John
Rocker,
Rocker
essentially-
Subway in New York.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, essentially,
Google
it's just
that.
a racist guy who, just a horrible person, really. And he would sprint to the mound. Would have this like dead-eyed look. Absolutely.
I do
roided
remember
up.
him now.
And he was just the epitome of like everything bad about the sport of baseball in some way, that there are people that were bred to be this. So to me, that was scary, seeing like baseball have this character in this position with this voice and everything. So I know that's not like all what you were going for, but I also wanted to let Cheesecake and Doc say the obvious answer, that the only one I could really think of. And I wanted to at least just say like John Rucker sucks. Any opportunity I get to say that, I will do.
He does suck. I'm not going to say what I'm reading right now in this
It's
article.
terrible, right?
This is
It's
bad.
horrifying.
Oh wait, David,
Yeah.
can you send this to me? I need to read it after the show.
Yeah, I'll send it to you after the show.
I'm showing my age clearly.
Obviously, I know too. So
I'm usually pretty good with baseball players, even if they're past my time. But I had never heard of him. Cheesecake, was that where you were going to go, or you have somebody else?
no, I think the answer that Nick was leaving for us is Randy Johnson.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I was going to.
I spent 25 minutes watching a YouTube clip of SportsCenter highlights of Randy Johnson last night in preparation of this, and it was one of the best 25 minutes I've spent in a long time. For one, not only did I hear Dan Patrick, Chris Berman, Linda Cohn, Mike Tirico giving highlights again, it was great. Dan Patrick going the whiff whenever Johnson would cause a swinging strike, and you'd see like, okay, here are the Hall of Famers that he struck out on this highlight: Ricky Henderson, Dave Winfield, Pudge Rodriguez, Frank Thomas, Kirby Puckett, Cal Ripken Jr. I could keep going. There were highlights where you get a complete game giving up 3 runs, a complete game giving up 4 runs. There was one where Dan Patrick said they have him on a pitch limit of 110 this game. And I was like, wow, how times have changed. But you look at Johnson, his hair swinging wildly, his 6'10" frame, not even, flailing towards you, going 97 with that slider that you weren't going to touch unless you closed your eyes and prayed. The scariest guy I could think of is the only one who, to me, fits this question is Randy Johnson.
I mean, look at how John Kruk reacted. That's all you need to do.
Yeah.
You know?
You brought up Randy Johnson without mentioning that he killed a bird. That would have scared me.
Yeah.
Well, that was accidental.
Eric. It was like, today he's putting his tie on in the mirror. Today I'm going to kill a bird. No.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, he threw the ball so fast, and obviously a lot of people throw 97, but it's just like, wow, he threw so fast. You saw the result from it.
Oh man, that was such a sad moment.
Can you imagine that with Twitter today?
That would have been gifts would have been made of that. It's a fun fact for you guys that he's a photographer now.
Oh yeah. He didn't like baseball. It worked for him, so he did it.
Oh,
he's all in his photography stuff. So Doc, I don't know if Randy Johnson was your pick. Do you have another one?
I do. I had a couple because I was prepared that somebody would take Randy Johnson. For me, I think the most recent one has to be Chris Sale. You look at the unorthodox throwing motion.
Mm-hmm.
You look at somebody that always appears to be grumpy on the mound. Kind of that scrawny build. But from what I've read, he has a very unpredictable personality. And one of the articles I read when he was on the White Sox is he didn't like the throwback jerseys that they were going to wear. And he just got the scissors and cut them up. And I can't imagine if somebody is that incensed about wearing a jersey. Imagine if he had a beef with a hitter, somebody hit a home run off of him and stared down a little too long. He's going for them next at bat, and he can throw fast prior to Tommy John.
Go ahead, Nick.
I don't know if you guys, one of my favorite pitches ever thrown is actually the one that resulted in a grand slam, and it was a 3-2 changeup from Sale to Mike Trout, it's the most ridiculous home run I've ever seen. It was the most perfect 3-2 pitch, just out of the zone, down away. Trout yanks it or hits it straight to center, and it's a home run, and it's all of a sudden a 5-5 game in the bottom of the 8th, right? Chris Sale afterwards goes you see him go into the locker room and take a bat, and as you just get the last glimpse of him, he's swinging it at something. And it's like, oh, man, Chris Sale. Okay. All right.
You know what? I just looked it up, and there's a video of it. As soon as we're off, that's what I'm looking up.
Yep. That
That's
pitch
awesome.
itself, though, that was such an unbelievable, how was that a home run? And, welcome Mike Trout to the world. I think it was 2014.
Nick, how do you know all this stuff? Do you want to tell me the
remember
date
this.
it was?
I don't know the date whatsoever. I just remember it was 2014. But my
man.
God, it's crazy. If you're playing it right now, you should be. It's so good.
I am. You've made me so curious.
So I want to give
my gosh, you're right.
It's unreal. How does he hit that?
Wow.
I want to give an honorable shout out to John Rauch, who I think was I think he was as tall as Randy Johnson, if not it was right around to say he's 6'10" or something ridiculous.
Oh,
I want to give a
yeah.
shout out to Craig Kimbrell because when he would stare you on the mound with his arm, or he's still pitching, he does it.
I don't know how is he like. Don't you get sore doing that? That's
Yeah.
not. Why do you choose that? You don't have to be a vulture.
I like if I was a batter, I'd be like, it would be so intimidating, especially when he was like with his Braves days, and he was like, oh my god. But then I'm surprised you guys didn't say this. I think there's another obvious answer besides
Max
Randy
Scherzer.
Johnson. Yes, Max Scherzer.
Oh, interesting.
David, I knew you were going to say that, which is why I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, he is the definition of a bulldog. He's the definition of someone that stares through your soul. So if I was a batter, that'd probably be the guy I would be most scared facing in the box, just how intense he is.
Yeah, I would. Okay, so I would make the argument that like if you're going against Scherzer, like you're not afraid that he's going to hit you. You know, you're not afraid for your safety though. He's there as a competitor. In some ways, actually, I would feel energized by it because I don't feel like my life is in danger. This guy is just so into this game, and I can be so into this game too. But Aroldis Chapman, oh boy, that would terrify me.
That's a good one.
That's just like, oh my god, he doesn't know where it's going. If he doesn't know, wait, hold on. that would terrify me a bit.
Yeah, and if you're facing Scherzer, you have to feel like there's a pretty good chance you can homer off of him.
He gives up a lot of them, that's for sure.
I also think Josh Hader is kind of like Randy Johnson light. He's got the long hair even. Yeah, he's got the long hair even. He's got that long lanky body and that long motion where he looks like he's right on top of you when he's releasing the ball.
And he does have a tattoo sleeve.
Yeah, that's
there you go. That's another thing.
That doesn't get to me. That's showing me he's trying to intimidate me.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
There's that try hard.
I love it. All right, let's get to the last segment of the night, and that's our game of the week. We're talking nostalgia, so I figured I had to play that. Nick, you definitely know where that's from, right?
Oh, that's Rock Ball Rock. That's the basketball. No, that's Round Ball Rock. That's NBA and NBC.
By John Tesh.
Yes.
But yeah, John Tesh. But wait, there's a great SNL skit. Oh man, give me the ball.
Basketball.
So give me the ball. I'm gonna dunk it. It's great.
It's a great
you should watch
skit.
it.
It's a great
Jason Sudeikis. It's wonderful.
You guys are giving us so much good material to look up after the show that we haven't seen.
Basketball.
Give me the ball. I'm gonna dunk it.
Oh, that's great. Wait, what SNL skit is that?
It's just Round Ball Rock, I guess. I mean, that's the name of the actual song.
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube. Okay. I watched it a few weeks ago, actually. It's that good. It's in my rotation.
Okay, I'm going to put that on after the show as well. So, Nick, I don't know if you remember, we did a game last time, and you said, I thought you were like, oh, I was going to do I wanted you guys, if we were going to do pitch mix, that's my game. And I was like, I got you. I was like, next time, I got you. So, we are doing
now
the
I'm
pitch.
definitely going to lose. Okay, great. Yeah.
Congrats on the win, Nick. Congrats on the win.
We've got your bread and butter here, the pitch mix game. I've got 7 pitchers lined up with an 8th as a tiebreaker. Your job is going to be to tell me whose pitch mix I'm listing. I'm going to give you 4 pitchers, and then you got to choose which one of those 4 you're picking. All right?
Do it.
All right, I'm coming in last.
And we'll obviously start with somebody. Love the confidence in yourself. We'll start with someone different each time. So that way you guys can't just piggyback off of Nick. All right.
Damn. Who knows if I'm going to get it right. I'm going to throw you off and get it wrong.
All right, so the first guy we got, David Peterson. Oh my God,
I think it's David Peterson. I'm gonna
go with David Peterson.
Okay, hold on. Slider. Is it a change? Okay, sinker, slider, change up, maybe a curveball.
He's a sinker, slider, change up, 4-seam.
Oh no, curveball. Okay.
All right, so we all get a point for that, right?
Yeah,
wow, it's a good thing I had. It's a good thing I had the extra, so then we'll just do the next 7. I didn't format it in the best way. Okay, so
just end the game when it's a tie, man.
All right, next one here. This pitcher throws 4 pitches. Mostly relies on a 4-seamer just under 62% of the time. He mixes in a slider and a change at about 19 and 18% respectively, and he's thrown only 1 sinker this year, so he's pretty much a 3-pitch pitcher at that regard. Your choices are Julio Urias, Dylan Bundy, Aaron Savale, or Trevor Rogers. Nick, we'll start with you first.
62% fastball, and you said it was a slider?
Slider is his next at 19%, yes.
And what was the 4th one that he doesn't really throw?
Sinker, he's thrown 1. He has also an 18% changeup.
I know. I'm debating between two guys who are like incredibly similar here.
Who are they? I'll take the other one.
Yeah. I'm going to go with Trevor Rogers.
Cheesecake, where are you going?
I wasn't going to go with Rogers. Now I'm tempted. I'm going to go with Urias.
Doc?
It's not friend of the pod, Aaron Savale, I'll tell you that.
He's awesome. Yeah. 100%.
He really is.
I'm going to go Urias as well.
I think it's Urias, but yeah, it's Trevor Rogers. I'm saying Trevor Rogers. I realized that Trevor Rogers probably throws his changeup too much, but so I messed it up. You guys got it.
Nick, you got to trust your gut, man. You are correct. It is Trevor Rogers. Wow, right off the bat.
I wanted to change my answer. Okay, good. All right, good.
Got to go with that first instinct.
What is it with Urias then? I mean, like, it's because I wanted to call it a curveball is why I didn't choose him.
Okay, I'll look it up while you guys are answering the next one.
Go ahead.
So shout out to Baseball Savant because they have the comparison, so it made it so I could actually pick a lot of good ones that are connected to each other here. Next one, we'll do Brandon Woodruff. Oh my God!
Oh my Lord!
I love it.
Oh my God!
Easiest game yet.
This is nuts. Okay.
No, there's less opportunity for us to come back, Cheesecake.
That's a four-seamer changeup slider with some sinker in there. I mean, it's actually like 30 to 20 sinker, or a four-seamer to sinker or something like that.
Yeah, so it's a sinker, four-seam, both around 31% right now. He's got a changeup and slider at 13% and then a curve at 12%.
David, just stop reading these names.
No, that was the last time. All right, we're good now. We're good now.
Sure.
Okay.
You're stressed out. I can tell.
This pitcher throws 4 pitches. Sinker at over 40%, slider at a touch over 38, a four-seam at 18, and a changeup at just over 8%. Your choices are JT Brubaker, aka Coffee Cakes, Chad Kuhl, Joe Ross, Zach Eflin.
Wow. Okay, what were the last two again?
Pitches or players?
Pitches.
It is a four-seamer at 18% and a changeup at 8%.
Okay. I'm not going first this one, right?
No. Cheesecake, you're up first.
I haven't looked. No, it's not him. Okay. I
have mine. Don't take it.
Give me Coffee Cakes on this one.
Coffee Cakes.
I'm going Zach Eflin. I remember hearing that he's going to rely less on the fastball, more on the sinker.
All right.
So it was Coffee Cakes, Zach Eflin. Who were the other two?
Chad Kuhl and Joe Ross.
Oh man. Okay, so it's 100% not Eflin because it's a curveball in there. Sorry, Doc.
Damn.
Yeah, take him down.
It was between him and Joe Ross for me.
I'm happy I could talk it out. I mean, I don't know the exact pitch mix of Joe Ross. And Chad Kuhl is sinker heavy, and he has thrown some four-seamers in there.
Way to just make me feel dumb.
Well, no. But this is really, really close. I think Coffee Cakes changes it up a little too much. I'm going to go Chad Kuhl.
So the answer is Joe Ross.
I should have just gone with that one.
Nobody got it right.
If there's any kind of Friends reference I can make in there with Ross, I'm going to put it in there.
Yeah, you should have pipivoted.
So nobody gets a point for that one.
That's the
Red Ross. Okay. Red Ross.
Pivot.
This next one we got. This pitcher throws 5 pitches.
What's his name?
I almost did it. I'm like taking a second each time. This pitcher throws 5 pitches, a four-seamer at 42.5%, slider at 38%, change at 13.5%, and a curve at 5.1%. Technically 5 pitches because he's thrown a sinker once this year. So you can axe that if you want. Your choices are Jose Urena, Tony Disco, Coffee Cakes, or John Gray.
Can you say it one more time?
This is unreal. Oh my God. Okay.
Jose, are these the guys or the pitches, Eric?
The pitches.
I'll tell you the pitches in order of how much they use them. So four-seamer, slider, change, curve, and then a sinker he's thrown once.
Going John Gray. He signed a baseball for me.
Good reasoning. Nick?
Okay, so there's John Gray, Coffee Cakes. Who are the other two?
Tony Disco and Jose Urena.
Oh man, I don't know Urena's.
It would probably.
Why would I spend enough time to study Urena's?
Because you can tell that Mike Trout
okay.
hit a 3-2
No,
changeup off Chris Sale in 2014.
I remember Urena's now. Yeah, I can remember. Dude, I've seen that so many times. I just think of it endlessly. How did he hit that pitch? I don't understand.
It is pretty crazy.
I'm gonna go with Tony Disco.
LC?
No,
You know-
can I take it back? All right,
Yeah,
fine.
you
I'm not
can
taking it back.
you can take it back if you
I'm
want.
not taking it back. I'm not taking it back.
It's probably gonna be Coffee Cakes because David put it twice on there.
That's my thinking. I'm going Coffee Cakes because you did
Just
it the
because-
second time you've used them.
Just because of that?
Yeah.
Well, you need to have better faith in your host because the answer is John Gray.
Oh yeah, and the game.
Tony
Let me
Disco
tie
throws
with
a
Nick.
sinker. He throws a sinker. Nice job. Ugh,
Cheesecake.
myself.
Mm-mm.
That
All
was
right,
your
next-
tell a few games ago.
I know. You guys made the mistake of telling me that, so now I learned. Throw you off here. All right. This next guy throws 4 pitches. Fastball 56.5%, slider at 24%, a change just under 13%, and a curve at 6.5%. So 4 pitches. Your choices are Jose Urquidy, Christian Javier, Chris Paddock, and Daniel Ponce de Leon.
Jose Urquidy.
Cheesecake?
I'm going with Urquidy as well.
Doc?
I'm going with Urquidy as well.
Should have
Doc?
taken longer.
Yeah, let's say you gave that away with how quick you were with it. It is
Oh, yeah.
Jose Urquidy.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I'm
Doc-
piggybacking off of Nick
I was
when he
like,
goes
Doc,
before me.
Did you have an
Paddock-
idea about that or no?
Uh,
Doc,
Doc,
did you have any idea, or were you just riding what they said?
It was either going to be him or Paddock with how fastball heavy it was.
Okay.
But then I remembered
Yeah,
Paddock.
Paddock's over.
Ba-
Paddock's a 2-pitch guy, and so is
And then
Marcelo
that's what I
Leon,
remembered.
and-
Paddock's a 2-pitch guy.
And Christian Javier does not have that
Javier's
deep
a
of a
2-pitch
repertoire.
guy.
Those
Yeah,
are-
Javier's
Paddock's
pretty
going
much
like
is 1-2,
66,
yeah.
67%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Urquidy has that.
Paddock's
nice full repertoire.
67%. Yeah.
that's weird that they. I guess that one's kind of interesting that they grouped together with Urquidy then, because they
That
obviously
is
are very.
interesting, yeah.
Next guy here. I put together
His
this
name?
list of. I put together this list of guys he's related to. So this was before I figured out that hack on Baseball Savant. So this guy throws 6 pitches, a 4-seamer that headlines at 30%, followed by a cutter 20%, changeup at 18, curve at 16, a slider at 11, and a sinker which he threw the most last year down at 4.6%. Your choices are Yu Darvish, Joe Musgrove, Aaron Savale, Jesus Luzardo. LC.
30% on the 4-seamer, 20% on a cutter, 18 on a change, 16 on a curve, 11 on a slider. Jeez. This guy
6
doesn't have
pitches.
a screwball too?
Yeah, throws the kitchen sink at you.
6 pitches?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm going to go Joe Musgrove.
Doc?
So it's Musgrove, Darvish, Savale, and who's the last one?
Luzardo.
Luzardo. I'm between Musgrove. You know, I think I remember us talking with Savale about how he threw, just how he had 6 pitches, and so I'm locking that in. This is where Nick tells me I'm wrong.
Aaron Savale.
At least you got to go last this time. It is Aaron Savale.
Nick copied off of me. What?
He knew the answer.
Okay, there's no way it's Darvish. He's thrown, 4-seamer heavy. No, he's cutter heavy. Joe Musgrove is going breakers first over 4-seamers. I don't remember who the last one was, but that was
Luzardo.
Yeah, Luzardo throws 3 pitches.
That's exactly what I was thinking in my mind.
So Savale is a cutter heavy guy.
So
there you go.
what's
I was
the
surprised
score?
curveball was that low?
What's the score going into the last one? How much you
Doc
guys
and I are tied. That's all I know.
Yeah.
I think so. Cheesecake, you're down. You got to catch up here. Last
I
guy
do.
we have on the list here.
Don't say his name.
No, say it. I'll take splitting with Nick.
This pitcher
I will
throws
too, honestly.
This pitcher throws 3 pitches, headlined by a splitter, 45%, followed by a sinker, followed by a curve. Choices are Kevin Gausman, Alex Cobb, Jordan Lyles, and Jorge Lopez.
Jesus. And
What was
we're
the first
starting with
pitch?
me.
We're starting with you, Doc.
Sorry, I
And
missed-
it works out.
What
What'd
was
you
the
say,
first
Cheesecake?
pitch?
First pitch was
I didn't
a
hear the
split
first
finger.
pitch.
Split finger.
Okay.
Oh gosh, if this was Kevin Gausman of last year, I'd say that would be lower. It's Gausman, Cobb, Jorge Lopez, and who's the last one?
Jordan Lyles.
Jordan Lyles. I have no idea what Jorge Lopez throws.
This is good. You're going first, Eric.
I know. You know, the fact that Pollack and I are tied for the last one is amazing to me.
Well, I also missed out on 2 of them that could have impacted.
I would have
that.
gotten both of them. I would have gotten both of
You
them.
deserve that John Gray one. Absolutely.
So it's splitter. It's what else? And what
Sinker
else?
curve.
Splitter, sinker, curve.
Yeah.
Eric, Chris.
I'm going to go Cobb.
All right. I'll say Pollack. I'll have you go last. LC.
He knows it. I can
That's
see it
why
on
I'm having
his
to go
face.
last.
I
On
know.
his face. You're changing the rules of the game. This is nonsense. It's
I don't know what you're
45.
talking about. Who are the 4 pitchers
45%.
again?
The 4 pitchers. Even though I don't need to read them for you, I'll read them again. Kevin Gausman, Alex Cobb, Jordan Lyles, Jorge Lopez. Nick's working on his poker face right now.
It's not very good, Nick. It's not very good, poker face. I'm
I
gonna
hope you
go.
accidentally utter the wrong name.
I'm gonna go Jordan Lyles because I don't know for sure.
Nick.
Jordan Lyles is throwing a new slider.
Oh, cool.
It's Alex Cobb, Doc.
That's what I
So-
said.
Cobb. I know.
And if you guys remember, he was brought up in the show, and we
With
talked about
Sinker.
his.
We talked to Sinker.
We talked. I was like, which one of you guys was listening? But I knew Nick was gonna know it. But
Well, 45% splitters. I feel like Seinfeld when I say this. 45% splitters. Thank you so
well,
much.
we don't do this too often, but we are going to share the championship today
Yes.
between the Doc
Yes.
and between Pollack.
Give me my one-person cheer.
Yeah, we'll
That's
give
all
the
I crave.
we'll give the crowd
Hey,
for
you earned
for-
that. You earned that. You got it in the last round. You were first. You picked Cobb. You got there. That's
Thank you.
Yeah.
Here you go,
Well
Doc.
deserved.
That one person never stops believing in me. Thank you. I will find out who you are one day.
Oh, I love it. Well, Nick, this was an absolute treat as always, man. Thank you so much for coming on the show tonight.
Oh, this is a pleasure, man. You guys do such a great job with this. I'm touched you wanted me back. Obviously, we'll do this again another time. And really, yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh, again, it is our treat. It's our pleasure. Is there any way for people that don't know who you are, for some reason, if they live under a rock or something, where they can find your work, where you're at on Twitter and all the other good stuff that you're working on?
I mean, yeah, the main thing I want to talk about is, Twitch. Come on by 8:30 to 10 a.m. in the morning. I'm live streaming Monday through Friday. I'm doing the First Pitch podcast, doing ranks, live AMA, twitch.tv/pitchlist. Come hang out, wake up with some coffee and some baseball. So
Is that East
Come
Coast
by.
time?
East Coast, yes.
Okay, perfect.
So, yeah, come on by.
The man never sleeps.
No.
You said you're scheduled the other day. I was like, oh my God. I was like, he's grinding. I love it. It's motivating for sure.
Well, you gotta, there's no other choice, and I got to do the things I want to do because of it. So, and I feel purposeful. I fall asleep right away, after it. It's great. I love it.
Well, again, as many of you that already know him, he's obviously one of the best follows on Twitter, one of the best people, one of the best just human beings in the industry.
All right,
so make
David.
sure,
Okay.
make sure you
Okay,
follow
David,
him.
Let's finish this up.
Next week, we're going to be joined by Scott Janstad of RotoWire. So make sure you stay tuned for that. It's going to be a fun
Yes.
show. Until then, everybody stay safe. Make sure you enjoy another week of baseball. And we're going to make like a bread truck and haul buns. See you guys later.